my peak. Can we find any light without the music around? There will always be one love on life. Without no love, you got no regret. Without no revenge, you got no love. A melody where I belong in this life. In this life.
Hi again, everyone, from Fitzgerald Stadium on Hardhats-TV with Mark Benetti. This is Tom Rudebush, along with our producer, director, cameraman, Destin Human, as we get set to watch Post 22 take on Pierre tonight. A chance for the Hardhats, Mark, to extend their winning streak.
Yeah, winning streak's at 11 right now. They can go for a dozen against a team that we saw just about a week plus ago, that battles. They battle really hard. And unfortunately, in the second game, they ran into some issues, and the bullpen didn't really help them out that much. Starting pitcher did go out with an injury. Before you know it, they were down and out. The Hardhats took an easy 21-4 win in that second game. But this Pierre team can battle. We've seen it before. And after being swept by Post 320, Pierre would love to end this road trip with a win. So you know they're going to come out guns blazing tonight.
Well, 320 lost 2 games yesterday. Across the parking lot, they played Rapid City Post 320. And the Stars swept Pierre 10-0 and 4-1. So a couple of tough losses for Pierre last night. Those 2 games Mark referenced again, Memorial Day over in Pierre. Tough game in the first game. Went extra innings. Post 22 won 8-4 in the second game. Was all Post 22, 21-4.
And that's where pitching was so critical. That first game was a pitching duel. And eventually, when the bullpen started getting out there, bullpen started letting things go a little bit. Before you know it, the Hardhats were able to battle their way back slowly but surely in the first game. Ended up tying it in the top of the 6th. Went to an 8th extra inning, only 1 extra inning. And that's when the floodgates opened. Before you know it, they have a couple of errors to help them out. They score 4 runs. They take an 8-4 win. And then, like I mentioned earlier, in the second game, it was a narrow 3-0 lead until Pierre's starting pitcher went out with what looked to be an injury and some shoulder discomfort. They ended up throwing the reliever in. Before you know it, he puts up the 7th spot, and the Hardhats cruise to a 21-4 win.
Well, the skies have cleared off. There were some clouds off to the west this afternoon, but never really a serious threat of rain here at Fitzgerald Stadium. But tonight is a special night, Mark.
It's pie night. We were talking about a dozen wins possibly in a row for the Hardhats. How about the dozens of pies we have downstairs? They look unreal.
Now, did you get a ticket?
I did not get a ticket. I
didn't get a ticket either. Do we have somebody who could possibly run down and get us some tickets?
I think we might be able to talk somebody into that. We're going to have to ask very nicely, though, but I think we could talk somebody into doing that.
Hannah would do that for us. I know she would.
Yeah, because she wants to see us both win a pie tonight, so...
Are you going to run down and get us some tickets for Pie Night? Well, after the anthem. You're going to sing the anthem, Hannah? Well, you'll do a great job. Boy, she takes so many great photographs of Post 22 during the games. She goes to the School of Mines. Destin goes to Black Hill State. No wonder we have a little friction up here in the press box at that.
Nice little rivalry going on. I will tell you, Tom, if you've never heard Hannah sing the national anthem before I get ready to be blown out of the water, she has the voice of an angel, so it looks like it's going to be a good night tonight. Well, Hannah singing the national anthem means that we need to get to the starting lineup, so right down the line, let's go there very quickly. For Pierre, leading off is number 5, Mike Lusk. He's in the hot corner at third base. Batting second's number 12, Connor Gerber. He is at shortstop. Batting third, number 13, Brad Dean, patrolling center field. And in the cleanup spot for Pierre's number 7, Garrett Stout. He's the catcher. Batting fifth, number 25, Zach Rayburn, patrolling left. Batting sixth is number 22, Austin Haas. He's the designated hitter. Batting seventh, number 4, Kyle Stover, patrolling right field. Batting eighth is number 32, Easton Swartz, playing first base. Rounding out the batting order in the 9 hole is number 6, Carson Cheddar, playing at second base. Number 21, Dawson Pepke's on the mound for Pierre. He'll go against the Hardhats as follows. Leading off, number 11, Walker Paz, playing second base. Batting second, number 13, Zach Solano, patrolling right field. Batting third, number 22, Cooper Bowman, playing shortstop. And in the cleanup spot for the Hardhats is number 21, Timmy Paris. He's the catcher. Batting fifth, number 17, Todd Stevens. He's the designated hitter. Batting sixth, number 28, Zach Sumption, patrolling left field. Batting seventh, number 31, Ferdinand, playing first base. Batting eighth, number 14, Justin Kramer, in the hot corner at third. Rounding out the batting order in the 9th spot is number 12, Connor King, out in center field. Zach Cholis is on the mound for the Hardhats, a perfect 1-0 record, and what is his second start and 4th appearance of the season, a .955 ERA, 11 strikeouts to 3 walks. National anthem's coming up, folks. We'll be right back with tonight's Pierre versus Post 22 matchup on Hardhats-TV, always found on post22baseball.com.
In 35 specialty areas, Sanford Children's offers the care that matters to your family. At the Castle of Care, we are committed to bringing in the latest and most advanced technology and services to care for your children. And having the largest team of specialists in the region means your child can receive expert, individualized care close to home. At Sanford Children's, we promise to put your family first. To learn more, visit childrens.sanfordhealth.org.
You don't have to try to hit a home run when you're hitting singles and doubles all day. Consistency wins games, and it's key to helping achieve your retirement goals. At Weitzel Financial Group, they believe they're there to help with your own ideals and goals. Head toward your field of dreams. Call Weitzel Financial Group for a consultation at 348-1152. Kurt Weitzel is a registered representative and investment advisor representative with and offers securities and advisory services through Commonwealth Financial Network member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor. Weitzel Financial Group, 817 9th Street, Rapid City, South Dakota, 57701.
Trusted Choice Insurance agents are independent agents.
I pledge to be your guide, not only to insurance, but to insurance companies.
They don't actually work for any one insurance company.
And to use my independence to identify the coverage that's best for you.
This means they can customize policies from several companies in ways that other agents just can't. And they commit to that.
And I pledge.
In writing. Trusted Choice. You need an independent insurance agent.
Black Hills Insurance Agency, a tradition of service since 1949.
Trusted Choice Insurance agents are independent agents.
I pledge to be your guide, not only to insurance, but to insurance companies.
They don't actually work for any one insurance company.
And to use my independence to identify the coverage that's best.
Zach Sumption taking the mound for Post 22 here tonight, and Mark, I know that you were very impressed with his last outing.
Zach Cholis was fantastic the last start that he got. A 9-strikeout performance against Watertown last Thursday. And again, Tom, like I said, we need these lefties in the starting rotation to really produce. If a Zach Cholis can come out of nowhere like he did on Thursday night, throw 9 Ks in a first appearance with the varsity squad in quite some time, that spells good things for this pitching staff. So lefties really need to contribute. They're such a valuable asset at all levels of baseball, and if you've got a couple of lefties that can really do some damage and really throw batters for a loop on the opposition, good things are going to come for your club. We mentioned earlier Zach Chola's stats very briefly, so let's go ahead and take a look once again at what he's done this season so far. 7 1/3 innings of work. This will be his 4th appearance of the season, his second by virtue of a start. He has a 1-0 record under his belt, and that win came against Watertown, as we talked about earlier. 11 strikeouts to 3 walks, a .955 ERA. And while we're talking about Zach, we'll talk about the defense surrounding him. He's paired up with the catcher, Timmy Paris, behind home plate. At first is Luke Ferdinand. At second's Walker Paz. At shortstop's Cooper Bowman. And in the hot corner at third is Justin Kramer. Left to right in the outfield, Zach Sumption, Connor King, and Zach Solano. So Zach Cholis will face the top 3 in the pure order of Mike Lusk, Connor Gerber, and Brad Dean. Again, a lot of familiarity between both of these teams, having played not that long ago, last Monday on Memorial Day, so obviously that's a fresh memory in everybody's mind.
Well, the coaches have just met with the umpires at home plate. Mitch Messer, of course, for Post 22. Ryan White is the coach at Pierre. Ryan played for Aberdeen. I was talking to him before the game, and I said, Ryan, how long ago did you play? About 10 years? He said, you're close. 12 years ago he played for the Aberdeen Smitties and coaching Pierre right now. So we're set to go on a night that, boy, if you told me what the temperature is right now, I would have never have guessed it. Of course, I've got air conditioning blowing on my neck, so no wonder I feel a little cooler. 76 degrees will be our game time temperature. I think that's Bob Klein calling the balls and strikes tonight, and Bert Reddy on the bases. So Zach Sumption will pitch to right-handed batting third baseman Mike Lusk. And the first pitch of the game is inside and off the mid of Timmy Paris. 6:59 is the starting time for tonight's game. And as we said, 76 degrees, some clouds off to the south, but and a few to the west, but clear over the ballpark. Pitch is low and outside from Zach Cholis, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Outfield is straight away. Here's the pitch on the way, and a fastball in for a strike, and it's 2-1. One of the things that's plagued Post 22 a bit in the last 5 or 6 games has been a few too many errors. There's a pop foul. That's coming right back here. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Okay, Mark, you can come out now.
What are you talking about? You're the one that went under the table. I was in the ready position trying to defend you to catch it.
2-2 on Lusk. Here's the pitch on the way. Low and outside, and it's a full count. Mentioning the Post 22 errors, 24 errors for Post 22, and I believe their total through their first 12 games was 7. So that shows you the fumbles they've had in the infield. And there's a little pop-up towards third, and Justin Kramer in back of the bag, and fair territory on the dirt makes the catch. So Lusk, a little pop-up to Justin Kramer, 1 down, and it brings up Connor Gerber, the shortstop for Pierre, right-handed batter. Zach Cholis kicks and throws, and it's too low for a ball. Zach's father, who pitched for Post 22 in the mid-'80s, was a right-hander. So I don't know whatever happened to Zach. Here's the 1-ball pitch. And a fastball led her high for a strike, and it's 1-1.
Sometimes genetics are a very funny thing.
I heard your parents talking about that one night.
They talk about that quite frequently.
1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes now on Gerber.
As the middle child, I caught a lot of flack for that out of 3 boys. So
Here's Cholas in his 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. A pitch up that Gerber went after. And Cholas has his first strikeout. 2 down. And here's Brad Dean, the center fielder, number 3 hitter. 13th Legion game of the season for Pierre. 7 wins and 5 losses. Here's the pitch on the way, and a fastball strike, letter high, and it's 0-1.
from what I've been told by Mike Estridge, who's broadcasting for Pierre, Brad Dean's going to Dakota Wesleyan on a basketball contract, so quite the athlete.
Swing and a miss, a pitch away from Dean. Good pitch there by Cholas, dropping down and away. And Zach quickly ahead of the Pierre center fielder, Brad Dean, no balls and 2 strikes.
Should have said scholarship, not contract. He's not pro yet.
And the pitch. Strike 3. Fastball. Belt high over the inside corner. And Zach Cholas records a couple of strikeouts in a 1-2-3 first inning. We'll head to the bottom of the first. No score as Post 22 will come to bat with Walker Paz. You're watching Post 22 Baseball. Pierre Post 8, the opponent tonight, and you're watching on Hardhats-TV.
Great faces, great places. Wet paint? Yep. And around here, when great places need a little love, great faces band together. Each year, First Interstate Bank employees help local organizations put a fresh coat of paint on homes of those in need. A small gesture, perhaps, but one that puts smiles on faces and strengthens bonds in the places we serve. First Interstate Bank. It's you and I together.
Bob Klein, umpire, and I mentioned earlier behind the plate. Bob was a frequent umpire for many years in the 90s and early 2000s and hadn't umpired for a lot of years. And Paul Ferdinand just told me during the break, I asked him, gosh, is that Bob? And they said, yep, he just started umpiring again last year after quite a few years' absence from umpiring.
Well, he's calling the balls and strikes that are soon to be thrown by Dawson Pepke, the starting pitcher for Pierre, paired up with his battery mate and catcher Garrett Stout. The defense surrounding them: at first, Easton Swartz; at second, Carson Cheddar; at shortstop, Connor Gerber; in the hot corner at third is Mike Lusk. Left to right in the outfield for Pierre is Zach Rayburn, Brad Dean, and Kyle Stover.
Well, I got my ticket.
I did as well.
What's your last 2 numbers?
4-9.
Yeah, I figured that. Mine are 5-0. You always have to be a step ahead of me, no matter what.
Hal, I'd like to think that I'm just that good, and I'm a step ahead of everybody.
Walker Paz leading off for Post 22 against Dawson Pepke, the right-hander for Pierre. Walker, a left-handed batter, hitting .357. 4 doubles, and he's knocked in 8 runs. Dean, the center fielder, is going to move a bit over towards right center, and Pepke's first pitch misses outside for ball 1. In fact, the outfield is swinging around to the right on Walker Paz. Pepke's 1-ball pitch, and it's wide for ball 2. Zach Solano on deck, and then Cooper Bowman to follow. Here's the 2-0 pitch. And it's a ball high. 3-0 on Walker. Three balls and no strikes. Sun has come out from underneath some clouds. Here's the pitch on the way, and that's a strike, and it's 3-1.
Walker's a pitch away from being walked for the 9th time this season, and today's his 10th game. So averaging a walk a game, he gets on base.
3-1 pitch. Misses outside. Ball 4. And that's what you like from your leadoff man, a patient hitter who will draw a lot of walks, start some rallies. Hitter is Zach Solano, hitting .361, right-handed batter. Pepke's pitch low, gets away from the catcher, and Paz will go to second. Solano has 4 doubles on the year, 2 triples, 4 home runs, and 25 RBIs. Paz in scoring position now at second, and the pitch is down low and outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Two-0 pitch. That's a strike. 2-1 on Zach.
Good situation for Zach to be in early in this game. 353 batting average with runners in scoring position. With a guy like Walker, anywhere he hits it, he has the speed to get home.
Wide of the plate. 3-1 now on Solano as Pepke is not really willing to challenge anybody right now. He's really nibbling again. Cooper Bowman on deck. 3-1 on Solano. The pitch on the way is low and outside for ball 4. Back-to-back walks. Paz and Solano. And Ryan White is coming out of the dugout rather quickly here.
You know, Tom, this is a point that you've brought up a couple of times, is pitchers not attacking. And look, I get it. If you're Pierre, you're looking at this post-22 lineup and you're thinking, my goodness, they have so many weapons offensively, but it's part of the game. If you're a mid-major basketball team going up against the Kentucky Wildcats, are you going to play passive offense against John Calipari's defense? No, you're going to try and attack. And it's the same thing in baseball. You know, yeah, you're the pitcher on there. You've got all this arsenal of hitters coming up against you. You have to set the tempo here. You're the guy controlling this game. Ball's in your hands, so attack. And if they start hitting off of you, then try and adjust to that. But playing passive, it's going to get you in trouble too early.
Cooper Bowman hitting .422, swings and it's a high fly ball out into right center field, a mile high. Dean, the center fielder, coming in shallow right center, grabs it for the out. And on the first pitch, Cooper Bowman flies out to Dean in shallow right center field. So Paz at second, Solano at first with 1 out. Here's Timmy Paris. Do want to mention that Eric Petrie, who's got a 13-game hitting streak and leading the team in hitting at .489, is going to be out for a week as Paris steps in at .324 and takes the pitch outside, a mid-body injury. So he won't be going along to Denver this weekend. And, of course, that's a big bat out of the lineup. 1 ball, no strikes. Paris has 2 homers, a team leading 26 RBIs, and the runners go, and Timmy fouls the pitch off. Count all even at 1-1.
Now, Timmy stepping into this cleanup role needs to bring what Eric Petrie's brought to the cleanup role, and that is patience. When Timmy's patient at the plate, that's when his hitting statistics skyrocket.
Runners take their lead again. It's a 1-1 count. The pitch to Paris, swinging a foul off a breaking ball right off the end of the bat. And the count to Timmy is 1-2. 26 RBIs leading the team. His 10 doubles also lead the team. One ball and 2 strikes. The pitch on the way. Swung on, a foul out of play to the right. And the count runs along at 1-2. Through their first 20 games, post-22, a very healthy 10.7 runs per game. That'll be interesting in Denver this weekend when we play those games to see how we fare against a team that's supposed to be pretty good. Here's the pitch. Hard line drive past the third baseman, Lusk into left field. Around third is Paz. He'll score. Stopping at second is Solano. Paris with a sharp single to left field drives in his 27th run of the year. And post-22 has a 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the first inning.
Patience and battling. Timmy forced Dawson Pepke to make a mistake, give him a pitch that he could turn on right down that third base line. Credit Lusk. He was playing right on the line. Just a sharp shot right by him. 1-0 Hardhats on a great hit.
Here's Todd Stevens hitting the first ball to short, and it's booted by the shortstop Gerber. And the bases will be loaded. So an error on the Pierre shortstop. And the batter will be Zach Sumption. Stevens is leading the nation in hitting at 778. 7 hits and 9 at-bats.
Well, unfortunately, reaching on the error, that average is going to go just slightly down. I do want to point out, if Zach Solano didn't stumble at third, he would have scored on that sequence.
Well, he's going to score now on a wild pitch. A pitch down in the dirt, bouncing away from catcher Stout. Solano scores. Paris to third, Stevens to second, and it's 2-0. Post 22. Sumption's hitting .364. Zach has 3 RBIs, and at this moment, he's the holder of the longest hitting streak on the team. He's hit in 5 games in a row now for Sumption, who swings and drills at the center. Dean backing off, still backing off, gets to it and makes the catch. Tagging up from third is Paris. He'll score. Tagging up from second is Stevens. He goes to third. A sacrifice fly, the 4th RBI of the season for Sumption. 3-0 post 22, 2 outs, and a runner at third base.
Well, credit these Hardhats for jumping on early on this Pierre team. You've asserted yourself. You've got a 3-0 lead. Keep this momentum moving.
Luke Ferdinand up, and he lines one right past the pitcher, Pepke, into center field. Boy, it almost took his head off as Stevens trots home from third with the 4th run of the inning. Luke was hitting .286 with 6 RBIs, a couple of doubles, so he gains his 7th RBI of the season. And a 4-run inning for post 22. 4 runs on 2 hits now here in the first inning as Justin Kramer comes up, hitting .360. And Justin hits a foul, down and back, 1 strike. Post 22's team batting average at a season high of .343. Here's the set and the pitch. And it's low for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Connor King on deck as Kramer is the 8th man to hit here in the first inning. And the pitch. Off-speed breaking ball, strike over the outside corner. And the count to Kramer is 1-2. Here's the set and the pitch. A ground ball knocked down by the pitcher. It rolls in back of the mound. He picks it up and throws to first just in time. Pitcher to first to get Kramer. And that retires post 22 in the first, but they score 4 times. On 2 hits, there was a Pierre error and 1 man left on base. End of 1 here from Fitzgerald Stadium. Post 22 has a 4-0 lead over Pierre Post 8. You're watching Post 22 Baseball on Hardhats-TV.
Coke Zero goes with things like this. This. And this. Coke Zero tastes like this.
He shoots! He scores!
It sounds like this. It feels like this. So when the game is on, try it with this. Coke Zero. Real Coca-Cola taste. 0 calories, 0 sugar. Coke Zero.
4-0 post 22 after the first inning of play. Zach Sumption had 2 strikeouts, Mark, in the first inning. Boy, he's used to those Ks.
And that's 11 in his last 2 starts now. It's absolutely incredible. Good things happening for Zach Cholas out there on the mound.
And the pitch is down low for a ball. Garrett Stout, the catcher for Pierre. Left-handed hitter. Against the left-hander, Zach Cholas. Starts his windup. Here's his pitch. Swing and a foul rolled in back of home plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. And the 1-1 pitch. Strike at the knees. 1 ball and 2 strikes. I do remember Bob Klein. He's a good umpire, but he's very patient sometimes on his strike calls. You have to wait just a little bit more. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
As long as he's definitive in his signal, that's all that matters.
2-2. Here's the pitch on the way. Swing and a miss for strike 3. A pitch up and away from Stout. Third strikeout in a row for Zach Cholas. He's retired all 4 men he's faced, and here's Zach Rayburn, the left fielder, number 5 hitter for post 8. Motion by Zach in his pitch. A pop foul in back of the plate. 1 strike. No balls and a strike. The pitch on the way. It's in there for a strike, and it's 0-2. Two-strike pitch. Strike 3 at the letters. Rayburn thought the pitch was a little bit high, but he is called out. 4 strikeouts for Cholas.
This is incredible, Tom. His location's on point, but it goes back to a talking point we had in the top of the first. The bottom of the first. Cholas is attacking. He's mixing his pitches very well, but he is in straight-up attack mode right now, and it's good to see that confidence.
First pitch is down low and inside to Austin Haas, the designated hitter. Right-handed batter, 4-0 post 22 leading here in the top of the second. Pierre bats with 2 outs and the bases empty. Pitch on the way is a strike on the outside edge. 1 ball and 1 strike. Swing and a foul down the right field line out of play. So the count now is 1 ball and 2 strikes on Haas. One-two pitch. Another foul back and out of play. Zach looks into Timmy Paris for the sign. Here's the pitch, and it's high for a ball, 2-2. And Cholas' 2-2 pitch. Down low and inside, so he's run the string out to Haas now, 3-2. Kyle Stover, the right fielder, the number 7 hitter on deck. And strike 3 called. Haas was heading down to first. He is the 5th strikeout victim from Cholas in 6 hitters. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. And we go to the bottom half of the second. Rapid City post 22, the Hardhats lead Pierre post 8, 4-0 here on Hardhats-TV.
Why do so many business people trust us? Well, we're pretty nice folks, of course, and we really know our stuff. Black Hills Insurance, a tradition of service since 1949.
Well, the next home game for Post 22 will be the first night of the Superior Siding Black Hills Classic. which is being played not only here at Fitzgerald Stadium, but also at Pete Lean Field, home of the Post 320 Stars. Thursday, June 15th. It runs through Sunday, June 18th. And on the 15th, Post 22 will play Albuquerque, New Mexico at 7 p.m. Connor King leading off and takes a pitch outside, ball one. Connor hitting .273, 3 doubles, a home run, and 17 RBIs, and 5 fantastic catches in the outfield during the season. Dawson's Pepke's pitches outside 2-0. Joining Albuquerque here for that tournament, Sioux Falls East, Sioux Falls West, Alexandria, Minnesota will be here in the first night at Fitzgerald Stadium. Pitches outside 3-0. Upper Deck, and I'm not sure where they're from. Cannon City, I believe, is from Colorado. Colorado Springs will be here. Mountain View, and there's ball 4. And Connor King walks to start the second inning. So that's the first big tournament of the season. It begins Thursday, June 15th, a week from tonight. And it's the Black Hills Classic, sponsored by Superior Siding. Walker paws up. He walked his first time up and takes a pitch low and inside, and Pepke having trouble locating the strike zone.
I'll tell you what he's had a lot of trouble locating, Tom, and I think you've noticed this pattern too. So he'll walk a batter. The first pitch on the next one is either a pass ball or a wild pitch.
Here's the pitch, and it's outside. 2 balls and no strikes. 3 walks for Pepke now in 9 hitters. Here's the pitch, and a strike is called. 2-1. Swartz holding with King at first base. It's a pretty good lead, and the pitch is down low and inside. 3-1 now on pause. Three balls and 1 strike. Here's the set and the pitch. Ball 4, high. Runners at first and second. Nobody out here in the last half of the second. The assistant coach for Pierre is coming out. Zach Solano is the hitter for Post 22. And the conversation with the Pierre assistant coach, the catcher, and the pitcher taking place at the top of the mound.
While we're waiting on this conference, Tom, have you won a pie yet?
No. I gave my ticket actually to Mr. Solano so he would watch it for me.
I should probably jump on that bandwagon, actually. And I'll even help him out. I'll write my name on it just for him.
Mr. Solano, Mr. Ferdinand over there, and I don't trust those two any more than I could throw them. If I win a pie, I'll never see it. Zach Solano walked and scored in the first inning. So Pepke got a pep talk there from his assistant coach. Here's the pitch on the way. It's foul, backing on a play. 1 strike. Mitch Messer coaching at third for Post 22. Jason Hers over at first. Solano with a count of 1 strike. The runners take their lead from first and second. Pepke's pitch. Breaking ball. Outside. 1-1 the count. Pepke ready again. Here's the pitch. High, ball 3. I'm sorry, it's ball 2. It's 2-1. That first pitch was fouled off.
Tom's thinking of pie.
I'm just thinking of all the balls that he's throwing. I was just thinking that can't be a strike in there, can there? There's a base hit out in the left center field for Solano. Around third is King. He's going to score. And the ball will be picked up by the left fielder, as in to score also comes Paz. Some poor fielding out there. Dean went over to pick the ball up, but the ball deflected off his glove behind him. Left fielder Rayburn eventually had to pick the ball up. Solano will probably get credit for a single and 1 RBI with the second run scoring on the fielding error. At least there should be out there in the outfield. So here is Cooper Bowman, who flied out to right center his first at bat. Still nobody out. 6-0 now, post 22, and Cooper hits a fly ball. Left center field. On his horse is Dean. Can he get to it? He does, and he makes the catch in deep left center field. Tagging up at second is Solano, and he'll head to third. Cooper hit that ball a long way, but again, he hit it to the deepest part of the ballpark here. That alley out in left center where it's 393, just to the left of center field and to the right of the scoreboard. So there's 1 out. Solano now at third base, and here's Timmy Paris, who singled to left to drive in a run his first at bat. Pitch is low and blocked by Stout. One ball, no strikes. Timmy got his team leading 27th RBI in the first inning. He lifts a high fly ball down the right field line. Giving chase is Swartz, the first baseman, over near the screen. And he makes the catch. Coming home, and the throw to the plate not in time as Solano scores. Fine catch by Swartz right over by the screen. He was about 20 feet down past first base, maybe 25, 30. But he was right up against the screen to catch that foul pop-up, which turns out to be a sacrifice fly. And an RBI for Paris as Solano scores.
Got to credit Schwartz there again, Tom. That was an over-the-shoulder basket catch. That was not easy.
So here is Todd Stevens, the DH, and he takes the pitch down low for ball 1. 2 outs now, nobody on, 7-0. And the pitch was called a strike by Bob Klein. I didn't follow my own advice. And this pitch is a ball, low and outside. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Heck, if there were 60 pies up for grabs like there are tonight, my mind would be elsewhere too.
Are you saying my mind isn't in the game? Fly ball to center off the bat of Stevens, and Dean makes a routine catch to retire the side, and post 22 is finished in the second, but they had 3 more runs in the inning. They had just the 1 hit. There was no error posted up on the board for Pierre, but we'll call it there was an error, and let's see, nobody left on base. So at the end of 2, post 22 now leads by a score of 7-0. We'll have a new post 22 pitcher to work the top of the third inning when we return to Hardhat-TV with the Hardhats leading 7-0 after 2.
Camping World is here to help you connect to adventure and explore the outdoors with friends and family, offering new and pre-owned RVs to fit every budget and thousands of parts and accessories for any need. Camping World has it all. With over 125 supercenters nationwide, you're never far from America's #1 RV dealer. No matter where your adventures take you, whether you need an RV, parts, or service, Camping World is here to help you every step of the way. Visit Camping World in Rapid City or shop campingworld.com today.
Trey Eberline is now coming in to pitch for post 22, and the line on Cholas is pretty simple to read, Mark.
2 innings pitched, not a single hit allowed, not a single run scored, not a single earned run, not a single base on balls. 5 strikeouts on 28 pitchers on 6 batters. You want a stat on Zach Cholas here, Tom. In the last 6 innings that he's pitched, he's struck out 14 batters. 9 in 4 innings against Harrisburg, and 5 tonight in 2 innings against Pierre. Remarkable.
Trey Eberline making his 7th appearance, his 6th relief appearance. 1 win, no losses. He has 2 saves on the season. He's pitched 10 2/3 innings, allowed 8 hits, 7 walks, 7 strikeouts, a 1.97 earned run average. Leading off for Pierre and looking at a fastball strike on the outside corner is Kyle Stover, the right fielder. Right-handed batter. And Eberline's pitch. Swung on, a ground ball past the mound, hit to the right of second base, backhanded by Paz. The quick throw to first base got him. Nice play. Walker Paz just to the right of second, deep near the grass, makes a fine play to throw out Stover second to first.
The biggest X factor to that play was how quick Walker's hands were. That was not an easy play to make. He was diving completely away from first base, needed a quick exchange, got it. Great play at first.
And a strike call to Easton Swartz, the first baseman, number 8 hitter, a right-handed batter. And Trey Eberline's pitch. Swing and a miss. 0-2. This is the first time recently I can remember Trey pitching in a game. I guess there was one other recently, but where there hasn't been a lot on the line. I mean, that's 2 saves he's had, and his saves were really good saves. He came in tough situations. Pitches a ball inside. 1-2 now on Swartz. So he's pitched very well when he's been in pressure. 1 ball and 2 strikes. He's got nobody on here with 1 out. Top of the 3rd inning. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Swartz K's. First strikeout for Eberline. 6th strikeout for post 22 pitching and 8 hitters. Brings up Carson Cheddar, the second baseman.
Well, Trey's velocity is on point. He's attacking. Goes back to what we talked about earlier. He's just attacking. He's following the game plan.
Pitch on the way is line past Kramer and down the left field line. Justin tried to backhand it, couldn't reach it. Cheddar going for second base will have a double. So there's the first base runner for Pierre, as Cheddar delivers a 2-run double or 2 base hit here with 2 out in the 3rd inning. And Mike Lusk up the leadoff man, the third baseman. He popped out to Kramer his first at bat. Here's the set by Eberline, the pitch. Breaking ball, had him swinging. Pitch away, and it's no balls and 1 strike on Lusk.
That was a great breaking pitch from Trey Eberline. His delivery was so deceptive, I thought he was going to gun him on a fastball. Instead, the ball slid away.
1 strike the count. And Eberline's pitch. That's low and inside. He threw him a fastball, and it's 1-1. And the pitch. Rolled up the first baseline foul. Let's get that off the end of the bat, and the count is 1-2. 7-0. Post 22 leads here in the top of the 3rd inning. 4 games coming up in Denver. We'll have them all here on Hardhat-TV, plus on ESPN Radio. Here's the set. Eberline with a 1-2 pitch. Hit right back to Trey. He's got it. And he tosses to Ferdinand for the out. Pitcher to first to get Lusk. A 2-out double, but Cheddar is stranded at second base. We head to the last half of the 3rd inning. And the Hardhats lead Pierre Post 8 7-0. You're watching Post 22 Baseball here on Hardhat-TV.
Great faces, great places. Wet paint? Yep. And around here, when great places need a little love, great faces band together. Each year, First Interstate Bank employees help local organizations put a fresh coat of paint on homes of those in need. A small gesture, perhaps, but one that puts smiles on faces and strengthens bonds in the places we serve. First Interstate Bank. It's you and I together.
Zach Sumption leading off for Post 22 here against Dawson Pepke in the last half of the 3rd inning. Zach hit a sacrifice fly to center. and got an RBI in the first inning. Assumption's 4th RBI of the season. Swings and fouls at back of home plate, deflecting off the umpire, and the count is 1 strike. Zach's 5-game hitting streak going into the game tonight. He's hit .389 during that streak, 7 for 18. Now he and Mitch Messer will have a conference halfway between the plate and the third base coach's box. Luke Ferdinand and Justin Kramer to follow here in the last half of the third inning. One thing I like about Bob Klein, he keeps a tidy home plate. Always brushes it off, makes sure that I can see it as well as the hitters. And there's a pitch over the inside part of the plate that misses for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I have the same reaction you did, Tom. That was a little too close.
And a ball there, low and outside, 2-1.
Luckily, that was an easy one for us.
One of the things I'm going to try to get done this summer, Mark, during our broadcast, and I think it'll be kind of enjoyable. Pitch is low and outside, 3-1. I've gone down into my basement, into the cellar, and have brought out many old tapes of games. There's a high fly ball into left center field off the bat of Assumption, but that ball is carrying deep, and it is off the fence. Holy Toledo, that ball had legs, and into third base goes Assumption. Boy, that ball hit just to the left again of the 393 sign, the deepest part of the ballpark, and a triple for Zach Assumption to extend his hitting streak to 6 games.
I don't think Brad Dean had the best read on that, and it looks like sun's kind of a factor here for these outfielders, Tom. It's glaring right there, but I don't think he got the best read on it.
Luke Ferdinand takes a pitch outside, a ball. Hit number 4 for post 22 in the game, and Assumption at third now with nobody out. Luke, single to center, hit a shot right back up through the box his first at bat. Just missing Pepke. 2-0 the count. And the pitch. Half swing off an off-speed breaking ball, and Luke was out in front of it. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Never like seeing that half swing. If you're going to swing, just commit to it, go full, because even if you make some contact with it, you never know where it'll go.
Swing and a miss. 2-2. Luke, just another in the long line of families who have had more than just one player playing the program. Luke's brother Jake played, and there's a ground ball up the middle. It's going to go in for a base hit to center field. Assumption scores. Ferdinand has an RBI single. 2 RBIs tonight for Luke, 8 on the season. And here comes Ryan White out of the first base Pierre dugout, and this might be the end of the line for Dawson Pepke. 5 hits now for post 22. They lead 8-0 here in the bottom of the third. Pepke is giving the ball to his coach, and we will have a pitching change for Pierre here in the last half of the third inning.
Now, if I see this right, Tom, it looks like Connor Gerber might be the go-to man here for the relief appearance. I'm sorry, no, they're actually going to bring somebody up in the bullpen. I saw Connor Gerber going over to the dugout. Looked like he was going to grab a pitching glove, but it looks like they're going to go actually to the bullpen. Now, Pierre only has 4 gentlemen on reserve, so if this game does get long and drawn out, that could be a possibility that they eventually have to rotate someone in from the field to come out and pitch. So it'll be interesting to see who exactly they do decide to throw out. And it looks like it's going to be Joe King, who has DH'd, and he's played first base for this Pierre team, as we saw last week during Memorial Day. So Joe King, number 24, now on the mound.
He's a right-hander, and he'll face Justin Kramer. With Ferdinand at first base, nobody out. So 2+ innings for Pepke, and gave up 5 hits so far, 8 runs. Plus he had, 4 walks?
Yes, 4 walks. And it was 8 runs allowed. All but 1 were earned. You have to keep in mind that Todd Stevens did reach on the E6. Would have been great to see him get another RBI hit and get rewarded for his hard work as of recently, but he does get on base with the E6, and he did come around to score, but that is the only unearned run that Dawson Pepke had. So unfortunately, he's going to see that ERA skyrocket with 7 earned runs and 2+ innings of work. But 4 walks, like you mentioned, Tom, not a single strikeout too. So Hardhats really got to him early. It's resulted in an 8-0 lead, and we still have 3 outs to record in this inning alone, and the Hardhats are already on their 3rd batter. And they've already knocked in a run.
So Kramer steps in. Justin hit back to the pitcher his first at bat. As the sun has come out again, and as Mark said, it's going to be an issue now for the third baseman, shortstop, center fielder, left fielder, and even to a certain extent for the second baseman and the pitcher. Here's the set by King and his pitch. And it's a strike called. Off-speed pitch to Kramer, and it's 0-1.
Now, the unfortunate thing with Joe King in this scenario is right now the sun's in his eyes, but after his follow-through, it's going to go dark for him in the shadow.
1 strike pitch. Breaking ball down low in the dirt, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. 4 in the first for post 22, 3 in the second, and 1 so far here in the third. Still nobody out. Ferdinand leads from first. Joe King sets, and the pitch. And that's a ball. And it's 2-1. King ready again as Kramer waits. Now time is called. King takes too much time, and Kramer requests time and steps out. Here's the pitch. There's a high fly ball out into left field. It's carrying deep. Rayburn back to the fence, looking up, and that ball is gone. Over the left field fence for Justin Kramer. His second home run of the season. 2 more RBIs give him 6 now as Ferdinand scores in front of him. It's a 3-run third inning for post 22 and a 10-0 lead here in the third inning.
The second that ball came off his bat, and you saw me in the booth, Tom, I started spinning my finger around, touch 'em all, because that was a no-doubt home run. Absolutely torched it on a pitch with not too much velocity inside. Turned on it, got everything on it. 10 rip, post 22's up.
Here's Connor King, who walked his first at bat. And Joe King's pitch. And he throws it high and outside, ball 1. And the 1-0 pitch. Outside, ball 2, and it's 2-0. And the pitch is a strike at the knees, and it's 2-1. And the pitch wide, ball 3. There must be some mistake. A pie still has not been delivered up here, and I wonder what's holding them up.
I have to agree with you on that.
3 balls and 1 strike. Here's the pitch. High and outside, ball 4. So Connor walks for his second time. Here's Walker Paz, who has walked twice and scored twice for post 22. That home run for Kramer, the team's 20th of the season. They've out-homered their opponents 20-3 this season. Here's the set by King and his pitch to Paz. Outside and low, ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Pitch on the way, and it's high and outside. 2-0 the count. Swartz holds with King at first base. With Connor, who takes his lead. Pitch on the way, and that's high. Walker's probably thinking, Gad, I haven't seen a pitch in 3 at-bats. 3 balls and no strikes, but he's showing good discipline. Very tempting this stage of the game when you're ahead 10-0 in the 3rd inning to kind of go for a hit or just do something. 3-0 pitch on the way. And he took a 3-0 pitch for a strike, and that's good team ball, too. If a pitcher has been walking people and you've got a 3-0 count, force him to throw a strike. And now Connor's in. King leads from first as Walker's got a 3-1 count. There's a high fly ball, right center field. Backing off is Dean. He's not. He did get to it. Caught it just in front of the warning track in deep center field. Back to first base goes King, and Walker hit that ball a long way to center. Mark, I think we saw what you were talking about moments ago right there. King was battling the sun, and he made a good catch. I'll tell you, that was not an easy catch. There's the first out here in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, Dean, once again, he had to read through the sun, and I'll be honest with you, Tom, that ball just died, and I don't know what in the heck stopped it.
Zach Solano up. He hits a foul back to the screen, 1 strike. Zach has walked, scored in the 1st, singled to drive in a run in the 2nd inning, and came around to score. Zach's getting a new hitting streak going. I think this will be 5 games for him now. Assumption's hitting his 6th. Petrie out with an injury for a week. Leads the team with a 13-game hitting streak. Ten to nothing. Post 22 leading here in the last of the 3rd inning. King off from first. The pitch low, squirts through the catcher's legs, but King is going to hang on at first base. You know, the way the post 22 offense has been through the first 20 games of the season. As King sets, he delivers. Good breaking ball. In for a strike, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens in Denver this weekend because, in all honesty, the schedule for post 22 so far, half of them have been teams that they should beat, and half the games against teams that traditionally have been pretty tough, but post 22 just smacked them around this year. So it's a pretty impressive start for the Hardhats, and we'll know a lot more in this weekend and in the following weekend when we're home for our first big tournament. 2-2 here on Solano. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. So Solano is down. King has his first strikeout. Here's Cooper Bowman, who has flied out to right center and then flied out to deep left center in the 2nd inning. Cooper hit the ball the long way to left center field. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball, low and outside.
I want to build off the point you made about the schedule here, Tom. You know, the Hardhats sit at 18-2 with an 11-game win streak, but 2 of those games that they lost, arguments could be made that if they held on at the end, they could be an undefeated 20-0 right now.
1 ball, no strikes. Pitch on the way, and it's high and inside. I always like to quote the famous and great football coach of the New York Giants, Bill Parcells, who said, "You are what you are." 2 balls and no strikes. And right at this point, post 22 is 18-2. But the point is well taken, Mark. I mean, a little pop fly into right center field, and the center fielder doesn't see it. Dean, the ball drops. It'll be a pop fly double for Bowman as King is around to score. Well, Dean put his arms out and said, I can't see the ball. And Cooper Bowman's going to get a gift there, a double to right center and an RBI. Cooper's 8th double and 23rd RBI of the season. 11-0 now, post 22 here in the 3rd inning.
It's going to be a factor, and if I'm Pierre, and heck, if I'm even the Hardhats, I'm watching this right now and I'm thinking, okay, now what do I have to do to adjust this? Because I have to play in those same conditions after the next out's recorded.
Timmy Paris has hit a RBI single to left in the 1st. Sacrifice fly to the first baseman down the right field line in the 2nd. I still remember, too, watching that press conference Bill Parcells had. A reporter was asking him after the game that this happened, and if you win next week. And Bill just looked at him with that look he always gave a dumb reporter and said, you are what you are. There's a ground ball up the middle for Timmy Paris, a base hit. Around third is Bowman. He'll score. And the beat goes on for post 22 here. It's now a 5-run 3rd inning. And a 12-0 lead.
Good to see Timmy Paris hitting the ball as well as he is right now. He's labeled it for either up the middle or in the hole between short and third for a great hit. I'm sorry, actually, down the third baseline. I got confused with another hitter, but down the third baseline, right up the middle, he's been very good. The sac fly RBI, 3 RBI hits in this ball game. It's good to see that he's back on his horse, hitting well.
Here's Todd Stevens up, and he looks at a breaking ball in for a strike. Todd has reached on an error, scored, and flied to center. Todd is 0 for 2, and he's seen his average drop 142 points in those 2 at-bats. Now 7 for 11 on the year. Here's the pitch. Hard ground ball, that's fair, and down the third base line, down the left field line, picked up by Rayburn. Stopping at second base is Paris. So Todd Stevens has a single here to join the hit parade, and here's the 10th man to bat, Zach Sumption, here in the 3rd inning. Sacrifice fly to center in the 1st and a triple to lead off here in the 3rd. Hit it to deep left center. Runners at 1st and 2nd, 2 out. King's pitch. Way outside, and the runners will move up. So on the wild pitch, Paris to 3rd, Stevens to 2nd. 12 runs now for post 22 on 9 hits here. Here's the set. And the pitch. High and outside. 2-0. It's interesting that Pierre did not take a pregame infield tonight. And I have no idea why they chose not to. 2 balls and no strikes. The pitch on the way. Swing and a foul. 2-1 the count now in Sumption.
I'd have to agree with that. It seems a little odd, and we talked about it for the post 320 game here at the Fitz, that sometimes not having the normal infield outfield will kind of throw you off your pregame routine.
2 balls and a strike. The pitch on the way. Hard ground ball in the hole to left field. A base hit for Sumption. In the score comes Timmy Paris, and right behind him, Todd Stevens. A 2-run single. So Sumption now has knocked in 3 runs in the game. He's got 6 on the season. And it's a 7-run 3rd inning for post 22, and their lead now is 14-0. And Luke Ferdinand up. Twice has singled up the middle and driven in runs. And a ball high and outside. 1 ball, no strikes. King's pitch. Misses outside, 2-0. I think it's a fair question to ask right now with this start is how good is this post-22 team? I mean, they're good. I'm not arguing that, but are they regional championship caliber good? And it's still early June in the season. We have 6 weeks to go in the season. There's a strike on the outside corner, 2-1. And as you look at the opposite side of the coin, the schedule is going to get a lot tougher starting this weekend and for the remainder of the season. 2-1 the count. Here's the pitch. Luke takes it high. Really impressed tonight the way the post-22 hitters have just been very disciplined. They haven't swung at bad pitches. They're taking their walks no matter how boring it may be, or everybody wants to get up there and swing the bat. They get a pitch, they've been doing it, but otherwise they'll lay off of it. There's the pitch high and outside. Ferdinand walks. That'll bring up Justin Kramer, and here comes Ryan White out of the dugout again for Pierre. Boy, you got to feel for a coach in a situation like this. They lost 2 games last night here to post 320, 10-0 and 4-1. And they're getting absolutely hammered here in the 3rd inning, 14-0. I'll tell you, it's interesting, too. This is the 3rd game we played against Pierre. That first game was a very competitive game, and you might say 22 is fortunate to win that game. They trailed 4-3 going into the 7th, and then in the 8th got a couple of big errors from Pierre to score 4 runs in extra innings and win the game 8-4.
This is a totally different Pierre team we're looking at. We're not seeing that battle from that first game. I think you're absolutely onto something there.
They look really dead, like they don't really want to be here right now. Here's the pitch, and it's a strike. One of my favorite moments at Fitzgerald Stadium is happening right now too, Mark. Over the years, I've just enjoyed this so much. That big full moon coming up over Skyline Drive. As we look out from the press box, there is a beautiful full moon tonight. Kramer up with his home run, his last at bat, a 2-run shot to left field. He loops this one out into right center field. It is going to be dropping in for a hit. Sumption scores. Over to third goes Ferdinand. Stover got his mitt on it right at the grass, but couldn't hang on to it. And Justin will have an RBI single, his 3rd RBI. And it's now 15-0. When things are going well, everything drops in. That little pop light's about the 3rd little pop-up that Post 22's had dropped tonight, along with several sharply hit balls. Connor King up. 2 walks, 2 runs scored. Pitches outside, ball 1. Ferdinand at 3rd and Kramer at 1st.
And here's something else to think about. We've been talking about the sunlight in the outfield. Well, that was the right fielder that made the play on the ball. He's going from shallow to lighted area to shadow to lighted area again, and he dropped it in the 2nd lighted area, so his vision was being screwed with.
1 ball pitch and a strike on the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. 2 outs here in the last half of the 3rd inning. Post 22 with a 15-0 lead. King out of the set. He delivers. High and outside, a ball. Two balls and 1 strike. Here's the pitch. Too high. 3-1 now on Connor. Number 9 man in the order. 13th man to hit this inning. Three balls and a strike. Here's the pitch. Outside, ball 4, and King walks for the 3rd time. The bases are loaded. Ferdinand at third, Kramer at second, King at first, and Walker paws up. Walked twice, scored twice, and flied out to center earlier this inning. And takes a pitch inside for ball one. The Superior Siding Black Hills Classic begins 1 week from tonight here at Fitzgerald Stadium. Runs for 4 days as the pitch is outside, ball 2 to pause. And Post 22, 1 week from tonight, will play their next home game against Albuquerque. Two-0 pitch, low for a ball. 7 o'clock next Thursday night. 3 balls, no strikes, 2 outs. 8 runs in here in the third inning. The pitch on the way. Ball 4. Paz walks. RBI for Walker. Kramer to third, King to second, and Paz to first. And here's Solano. And there's another pitching change for Ryan White. Boy, you really got a feel for the Pierre team. It is not good tonight. It is a hard game to watch. A painful game. And the Pierre infield now is grouped behind their new pitcher.
And it looks like that's Mike Lusk moving in from third base, if I caught the license plate correctly there, Tom. So Joe King is still going to stay in the game. I think he's going to, if the infield alignment is as they are, lined up behind Lusk taking his pitches, I think King's going to go to third unless they do another swap on the infield there. Just looking at Lusk a couple of pitches, he's having some problems with his control, but his velocity is up. So maybe the velocity will attack these Hard Hats batters a little more. At this point, if you're Lusk, there's nothing you can do about the scoreboard outside of just pitch. That's all you can do at this point. You're down 16-0. Try and limit the damage. You're coming out with some good velocity. Now you just got to get your location set, which he's, again, having some trouble with right now. But don't pitch like you have to throw the seams off the ball. And it looks like that's what he's doing right now. It looks like he's just gripping it way too tight, and he's just hammering away. Just pitch. Don't even think of anything else. Don't think of the bases loaded around you. Just think of the batter in front of you and go for it.
You know, I remember a coach for a team we were playing one time. I got to know him pretty well. He had a pitcher that was struggling at some tournament we were at. Couldn't throw strikes. So he went out and talked to him, came back to the dugout. I asked him after the game, what did you tell your pitcher? He said, you want to know what I told him? I said, aim for the center of the plate. Instead of trying to hit your corner, just aim for the catcher's mitt right over, because he hadn't been hitting anything. So he figured that, and the pitcher got out of the inning. And that's sometimes what you have to do. You just got to throw the ball up there over the plate. Hope your defense can make a play, because walking everybody isn't going to do anything. And I know Post 22's had a lot of hits, so the pitches that have been in there have been hit. But here's Solano, and takes a fastball right in there for a strike. Zach has had 1 hit in 2 official at-bats with an RBI, a single to left center. He's also walked and struck out. Here's the pitch. Strike 2 on the low outside corner. This isn't Solano either.
That's Colton Sherbinsky.
Yeah, Sherbinsky's batting for Solano. Pitch on the way is down low for a ball. If you want to run down real fast, Mark, I'll cover for you for the 4th inning if you want to take a swing. Here's the pitch. A wild pitch. Kramer comes in to score. King will trot to third and pause to second. Count to Sherbinsky, 1 ball and 2 strikes. You know how pitchers love to hit. Boy, he must have been in 7th heaven when Mitch told him to go up and hit here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, the pitch. A high pop-up right side of the infield. Swartz, the first baseman, standing almost exactly on the bag, grabs it for the third out. 15 men come to the plate in the fourth inning. 10 runs on 8 hits for post 22. 10 runs on 8 hits. They leave 2 men on base. And let's see, I don't see any Pierre errors in there. So Mark Benetti will come on in the fourth inning and try to hold this lead. 17-0, Post 22 leading at the end of 3. You're watching Post 22 baseball right here on Hardhats-TV.
To try to hit a home run when you're hitting singles and doubles all day. Consistency wins games, and it's key to helping achieve your retirement goals. At Weitzel Financial Group, they believe they're there to help with your own ideals and goals. Head toward your field of dreams. Call Weitzel Financial Group for a consultation at 348-1152. Kurt Weitzel is a registered representative and investment advisor representative with and offers securities and advisory services through Commonwealth Financial Network member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor. Weitzel Financial Group, 817 9th Street, Rapid City, South Dakota, 57701.
Why do so many business people trust us? Well, we're pretty nice folks, of course, and we really know our stuff. Black Hills Insurance, a tradition of service since 1949.
All set now for the top half of the fourth inning here at Floyd Fitzgerald Stadium. The Hardhats transition back to the defensive. They have 2 changes that have been made in this game. First off, Riley McSherry is now in the game for Zach Solano all the way out in right field. And now on the mound in place of Trey Eberline is Holden Jackson. Jackson comes in for his 7th appearance of the season, his 6th by virtue of relief. 10 2/3 innings of work under his belt, 6 strikeouts to 8 walks, and a 5.25 ERA. Jackson will face 2, 3, and 4 in the Pierre batting order, and his first pitch to Connor Gerber leading off the top half of the fourth. High and away for ball 1. Numbers across the board. For Pierre, no runs, a hit, 1 error. And for Post 22, 17 runs, 11 hits, not a single blemish. 1-0 from Jackson's a fastball at the knees to Gerber, and the count evens up at a ball and a strike. It's Gerber, followed by Brad Dean and Garrett Stout, scheduled to hit for Pierre in this top half of the fourth. 1-1 from Jackson. Swung on, and that ball is hit high in the air. It is foul, and it is out of play in the grandstand to my left. Third base side, a ball and 2 strikes now the count. Connor Gerber in the game, 0 for 1. He was the first of what were 5 consecutive Zach Chola strikeouts within the first 2 innings. Jackson looking for his first in relief. And his first batter. 1-2. Swung on, and that ball's ripped into right. Riley McSherry on his horse, and the ball's going to land in front of him. It'll drop for a base hit. So McSherry throws it into his relay, and Walker paws. So it's a leadoff single for Connor Gerber. Just the second hit of the ball game for Pierre. And that's going to bring up the center fielder, Brad Dean, who is the second in that string of 5 consecutive Zach Chola strikeouts. His came to end the top half of the first. So a rare base runner here for Pierre. Check down to first. Jackson not there in time. And safely back to the bag is Gerber. So Dean 0 for 1. His K was a backwards K in the book. And first pitch from Jackson. Called strike at the belt. Outside corner. On a fastball, 0-1 Dean. Gerber back to taking his lead on first. Ferdinand holding the bag. Jackson has a quick look to first. And here comes his 0-1. That pitch is swung on and hit high in the air to right field. Riley McSherry is tracking. He is underneath it at the foul line, and he makes the catch. So 1 down for the Hardhats defensively. And that's going to bring us to Garrett Stout, the catcher. Stout, a switch hitter. He is now standing in the left-handed batter's box. Gerber once again a lead off of first. First pitch from Jackson. Fastball called strike at his knees. 0-1 the count here to Stout. As I mentioned, the switch hitter against Holden Jackson, the righty. Jackson looks over at first. And he deals the 0-1 to Stout. That pitch is swung on, and that's hitting the left. Sumption's tracking and dives, and he does not make the catch. And it looks like they're going to get the out at second because there was a miscommunication on the baseline. Gerber didn't see that the infield umpire had signaled that it was a fair ball and that it was not caught by Sumption. And there's still an out on this play. There's still an out on this play. Because it's either Sumption did catch the ball, and it looked awfully close from here. Obviously, we don't have Major League Baseball instant replay to go off of. But either way, somebody should be out, whether it's on the catch or whether someone is out going to second. And it doesn't look like that's going to be the case here. They're going to say Gerber is safe at second. And it's going to be a bloop single here. Well, that's very interesting as to how they would rule that. So now, men on first and second with one out, and now Zach Rayburn comes up. That I still don't understand how that happened. And Jackson's first pitch to Rayburn misses the zone for ball one. Rayburn on the game, 0 for 1. You can guess a strikeout from Zach Cholis. Here comes the 1-0. Swung on, and that is turned foul, third base line. And the count evens up at a ball and a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. Men on first and second in the most bizarre of sequences. 1-1 from Jackson to Rayburn is a curveball that misses up high. 2 balls and a strike to count. I'm still trying to process how there was no out registered. I'll have to get an explanation in between innings. 2-1. Swung on, and that ball's hit right back to Jackson. To second, he gets 1. Bowman, the throw to first, in time, double play. 1-6-3 in the scorebook, and that is going to end the top half of the fourth. No runs on 2 hits with no defensive errors charged to post 22. 2 men left on the base path, 1 in scoring position. 3.5 innings are in the books, and the post 22 Hardhats still have their 17-0 lead intact. We'll be right back with the bottom half of the 4th inning. Barring any offensive substitutions, Cooper Bowman, Timmy Paris, and Todd Stevens are due up. Stick around, folks. You're listening and watching on Hardhats-TV, which can be found all season long on post22baseball.com.
With things like this. This. And this. Coke Zero tastes like this.
He shoots, he scores!
It sounds like this. It feels like this. So when the game is on, try it with this. Coke Zero. Real Coca-Cola taste. 0 calories, 0 sugar.
Some folks say it doesn't matter how you get the job done, as long as it gets done. To us, however, we won't be satisfied unless performance is coupled with integrity. Black Hills Insurance, a tradition of service since 1949.
Well, the Hardhats transition from defense to offense. Barring any offensive substitutions, it's Cooper Bowman, Timmy Paris, and Todd Stevens. In between commercials here on Hardhats-TV, Tom was explaining to me that the reason that the runner Gerber was safe at second was because of the umpire's discretion. He felt like he didn't clearly signal what the play was, whether it was out or whether it was a fair ball that may have been dropped or just skipped prior to Zach Sumption fielding it. And that resulted in the runner being safe. So a very interesting interpretation of the rule that we saw. And now Cooper Bowman ends that discussion, and he hits a foul ball left field side and starts off 0-1.
And Mark, that's just conjecture by me. I think watching the play as you did, the runner should have been out at second. And
0-1 to Bowman is swung on, and that's pushed into right field, and that's going to go over the head of right fielder Kyle Stover and all the way off the wall. Cooper Bowman rounds for a second, and he will stop with a leadoff stand-up double to start off the bottom half of the fourth inning. And I completely agree, Tom. I understand that it's conjecture, and maybe that is a rule. I mean, I'm not too sure, but the argument should have been there should have been an out. Either you rule that it's an out in the outfield with the catcher, or the runner's out at second.
The runner going, of course, from first to second could not go all the way to second. If the ball was caught, he could have been doubled off at first. So he had to try to play it halfway. If he would have played it the way he should have played it halfway, there wouldn't have been any play anyway. He would have gone to second safely.
Cooper Bowman goes. First pitch is low and away for ball one to Timmy Paris. Cooper Bowman, by the way, is now 2 for 4 on the game. Back-to-back doubles after back-to-back flyouts to center. Timmy Paris now up, 1-0 count, and a man on third, and his next pitch is absolutely torched down the third base line, but foul. Evans has counted a ball and a strike, and Timmy Paris has had an RBI every plate appearance he's had. 2 for 2 with 2 ribby singles and a sac fly RBI as well.
Very, very disappointed in you, Mark.
1-1 is way wild. That misses outside, and Cooper Bowman is going to come in from third and score on the wild pitch. And now the Hardhats have an 18-0 lead. And still no one's registered out here in the bottom half of the fourth.
You don't even acknowledge, after 24 years of never winning a pie, here I have won, and you wouldn't even acknowledge and say, congratulations, Tom, you won a pie.
See, I didn't know we were ending a drought. Next pitch to Paris is swung on and hit high in the air to shallow center. Dean comes in and he makes the catch. That is the first registered out of this bottom half of the fourth.
There had to be a streak to acknowledge it? Couldn't you just said, hey, Tom, you won a pie. Congratulations, partner.
Hey, Tom, you won a pie. Congratulations,
that's
partner.
That's not sincere at all. That's so phony.
I'm just doing what you told me to do. Here comes Todd Stevens now, the designated hitter, and he looks at a first pitch ball low and away. He's 1-0. Todd Stevens on the game, 1 for 3, a single, reach on an error, 2 runs scored, and a fly out to center, and he looks at a 1-0 that is outside to quickly make it 2-0. Mike Lusk is still on the mound here for Pierre. He is the third pitcher that they've used. And Pierre pitching has just been roughed up. Next pitch swung on, and that ball's hit high in the air, right side of the infield. Calling off the first baseman, Schwartz, is the second baseman, Carson Cheddar. He registers the out of pot 4 in the book. 2 down, and that will now bring us to Zach Sumption. Or so I thought. It's now going to bring us. No, it will bring us to Zach Sumption. I read the number wrong. I thought I saw 26. I did see a 28. Now my mind's playing games on me. I'm going senile. First pitch. And Sumption looks at ball 1 high and inside. Sumption on the game. 2 for 2. A triple, a 2-run RBI single, and a sac fly RBI. His 1-0 is swung on, and that's ripped into the gap in left center field, and that ball is going to drop and go all the way off the wall. Sumption turns on those twin turbos in his cleats, and he goes to second with a 2-out stand-up double, and that's now going to bring us to Luke Ferdinand. Luke Ferdinand on the ball game, 2 for 2. He has a pair of RBI singles, also a pair of runs scored and a walk under his belt. He came up to bat twice in the third, as did Sumption, who led that inning off. First pitch. Misses low and away, ball 1 to the Hardhats first baseman. 18-0 is the Hardhats lead as we are here in the bottom half of the fourth. 18 runs, 13 hits, no errors to post 22, no runs, 3 hits, 1 error for Pierre. Lusk checks second. 1-0 to Ferdinand is up high, 2 balls, no strikes. And should Ferdinand keep the inning going, Justin Kramer is on deck. 2-0 from Lusk. Swung on, and that ball is hit high in the air to right center. Dean is chasing all the way back to the warning track, and does he make the catch, or did he drop it? Looks like he made the catch. Tough to tell. Our infield umpire didn't chase to see the call, so he does make the catch. It's an F8 in the scorebook on an outstanding catch for Dean, and that is going to end the bottom half of the fourth. So for the Hard Hats, it's 1 run on the power of 2 hits, both of which were doubles. No errors charged to Pierre, and 1 man left on the base path in scoring position for post 22. 4 innings are in the books. The Hard Hats lead is now 18-0 as they gear up for the top half of the 5th. We'll be right back in just a few moments, folks, here on the official web stream of the Hard Hats. It's Hardhats-TV, which you can find all season long on post22baseball.com.
This means they can customize policies from several companies in ways that other agents just can't. And they commit to that.
And I pledge.
In writing. Trusted choice. You need an independent insurance agent.
Black Hills Insurance Agency, a tradition of service since 1949.
With more than 300 pediatric experts in 35 specialty areas, Sanford Children's offers the care that matters to your family. At the Castle of Care, we are committed to bringing in the latest and most advanced technology and services to care for your children. And having the largest team of specialists in the region means your child can receive expert, individualized care close to home. At Sanford Children's, we promise to put your family first. To learn more, visit childrens.sanfordhealth.org. With more
4 innings are in the books, and the Hard Hats have a monstrous 18-0 lead that they will try and protect against Pierre Post 8. The third matchup in this regular season between both of these squads. The Hard Hats split a Memorial Day doubleheader last week. Swept the doubleheader. 8-4 in extra innings in Game 1, and then 21-4 in Game 2 in all 7 innings of regulation.
Have you ever had a piece of a Jesse Lord chocolate cream pie?
Not particularly a Jesse Lord, but I have had a chocolate cream pie before.
You haven't had a chocolate cream pie until you've had a Jesse Lord chocolate cream pie. This is Tom Rudabush for Jesse Lord chocolate cream pies.
Nice little ad campaign we've got going here up in the booth. Jack Sorensen now the new pitcher for the Hard Hats, and his first pitch is outside for ball 1. We'll get to Sorensen's stat line in just a few moments. He's up against Austin Haas, the DH. Joe King, who came into the game for Austin Haas. And King quickly looks at ball 2. 2-0 now from Sorensen. And the pitch outside for 3-0 now. Jack Sorensen in relief of Holden Jackson. This will be his 7th appearance. All of them have been in relief. 3-0. Inside, ball 4. And that is the first walk surrendered by Hard Hats pitching tonight as we kick off the top half of the 5th. For Jack Sorensen, it's 11 2/3 innings of work under his belt. I mentioned his 7th appearance, all in relief. He has a 1-1 record under his belt, 11 strikeouts to now 10 walks on the season, and a 7.2 ERA. He'll go up against Kyle Stover, the right fielder, and his first pitch is a called strike. 1-1 the count here to Stover. He is also 0 for 1. With a ground out to second. Stellar play by Walker Paz at that. 0-1. Fastball rides high, and the count evens up to a ball and a strike. Man on first with no one out here in the top of the 5th. Hard Hats with an 18-0 lead, looking to keep it that way. Sorensen from the stretch. Deals, pitch is swung on, and it's hit to second. Paz gets the stop. He can't make the play at second. Throw it at first, not in time. Paz had some trouble fielding that ball before he got the throw to first, which is why he couldn't get the play at second. So both men are safe. That is registered as an E4. Error on Walker Paz. And that's going to bring up Easton Schwartz.
And his only play on that mark was to first base. He was going far to his left. There was no way he was going to field the ball and make any sort of a play at second. But he just couldn't get the ball into his glove and out.
First pitch to Schwartz, a called strike on the outside corner at his knees. 0-1 the count here to Schwartz. He was the only strikeout victim of Trey Eberline. 0-1, swung on, and that ball's ripped foul into Rapid Creek, first base side. And the count quickly balloons to 0-2 against Schwartz. So Walker Paz charged with the error that allows Kyle Stover to safely trot to first. Men on first and second, still no one out here in the top of the 5th. 18-0 Hard Hats lead. Next pitch, swung on and missed, strike 3. And that is the first strikeout in relief for Jack Sorensen. One up, one down, with men still on first and second to bring up the 9-hole hitter, Carson Cheddar. And now for the Hardhats infield defense, the double play ball ends the inning. So now here comes Cheddar. He was the first hit for Pierre, and his first pitch is swung on and hit in a right. McSherry comes in. Instead, Paz will take it at second, and he makes the catch for the easy pop 4. 2 down to now bring up Mike Lusk, the third baseman. And I actually just made a recognition here. That is Holden Jackson now in right. Riley McSherry has shifted over to center field, and Zach Sumption is still in left. So Connor King now out of the game. First pitch to Mike Lusk, the leadoff hitter, and now pitcher is a swing and a miss. He's behind 0-1. Men on first and second for Lusk. Now 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. It's still an 18-0 Hardhats lead. 0-1. Swung on, and that ball's hit to third. Justin Kramer, the easy scoop, and he touches the third base bag. 5 unassisted will end the top half of the 5th. No runs, no hits. 1 error was charged to post 22. That was on Walker Paz. 2 men were left on the base path. 1 in scoring position. Exactly half of regulation has been played. And the Hardhats have an 18-0 lead still intact. We'll now go to the bottom half of the 5th inning and do up for the Hardhats 8, 9, and 1. Justin Kramer will lead off. We'll be right back with the bottom half of the 5th here on Hardhats-TV, which you can find all season long on post22baseball.com.
Camping World is here to help you connect to adventure and explore the outdoors with friends and family, offering new and pre-owned RVs to fit every budget and thousands of parts and accessories for any need. Camping World has it all. With over 125 supercenters nationwide, you're never far from America's #1 RV dealer. No matter where your adventures take you, whether you need an RV, parts, or service, Camping World is here to help you every step of the way. Visit Camping World in Rapid City or shop campingworld.com today.
Hardhats are back to the sticks with Justin Kramer leading off. He came up to bat twice in the bottom half of the 3rd. And will lead off the bottom half of the 5th for this home side. Stats across the board at halftime, if you will. 4.5 innings in the books. 18-0 the Hardhats have the lead. For Pierre, it's 0 runs, 3 hits, 1 error in the field. And for the Hardhats, it's 18 runs, 13 hits, and 1 blemish defensively. That was registered in the top half of this 5th inning. Mark Benetti and Tom Rudabush alongside you for all the action this season on Hardhats-TV, which you're listening to right now on post22baseball.com and regularly on ESPN Radio Rapid City. Tonight we are not on because of a conflict with the NBA Finals. First pitch to Justin Kramer from Mike Lusk is a called strike, 0-1 to the Hardhats third baseman. Next pitch quickly follows, up high for ball 1 to even things at 1-1. Kramer's 2 for 3, a 2-run homer, and an RBI single under his belt. His next pitch is swung on and it's ripped just foul down the third baseline. 1-2 now the count to Kramer. That 2-run home run came in the early stages of that bottom half of the 3rd. And then he followed it up in the same frame with that RBI single. Came around to score twice. 1-2 to Kramer. Pitch misses low and the count goes to 2-2 strikes. Holden Jackson is on deck, taking over for Connor King. 2-2. Swung on, and that ball's popped up. It is foul. And it lands in the stands in front of us. And the count holds at 2-2. Jackson into the game for Connor King in the on-deck circle. He's now playing right field. Riley McSherry shifted over to center. 2-2 once again to Kramer. Misses inside on a breaking pitch. Counts full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And Mike Lusk, the reliever, deals to Kramer. That swung on and fouled, and the count holds full. Justin Kramer's had quite the offensive day. Holden Jackson to follow, batting .250. This will be the 9th game in which he's batted. Next pitch is swung on, and that's popped up high in the air to shallow right. Coming in from right is Stover. However, making the catch, calling it from second, is Carson Cheddar. So another pop 4 in the scorebook, 1 up, 1 down, will bring us to Holden Jackson. So Jackson batting .250 in just 8 games in which he's batted. 3 hits on 12 plate appearances. 2 singles. He has a triple under his belt. 5 RBIs. And he has scored 3 times. First pitch from Lusk. Misses high and away. Ball 1 to Jackson. 1 out. Nobody on the base path here in the bottom of the 5th. The Hardhats have an 18-0 lead. 1-0. High and away. 2 balls, no strikes to Jackson. So Jackson takes over for King. He walked in all 3 at-bats and came around to score twice. Poor kid was stranded on third the last time he was walked. 2-0 to Jackson. Rides inside. 3 balls, no strikes. And now Mike Lusk is a pitch away from perpetuating the 9-hole hitter walking trend. And here's the 3-0. And that's a called strike inside. Jackson started his trot. Home plate umpire said, hey, hang on there, buddy. You got another pitch to see. 3 balls and a strike now, the count to Jackson. Full lined up for Lusk, and he deals the 3-1 high and inside, and now Holden Jackson can walk to first. So the 9-hole hitter, whether it be Connor King or Holden Jackson, has walked every single time they've been in the batter's box. 1 out, a man on first here in the bottom of the 5th. Hardhats have an 18-0 lead, and that brings up Walker Paz, who is 0 for 1 with 3 walks, one of which knocked in a run, the other 2 in which he scored a run when he was on the base path. 1-0 his starting count as he takes a pitch low and away. Lusk from the stretch. 1-0. High and away, 2 balls, no strikes to Paz on a fastball. Riley McSherry in the on-deck circle in place of Zach Solano, who was pinch hit by Colton Sherbinski. He went 0 for 1. 2-0. Swung on, and that ball is drilled into right. It's got some distance on it. It's high, and it's going all the way to the wall. Scoring all the way from first is Holden Jackson, and into second with a stand-up RBI double is Walker Paz, and the Hardhats are just piling it on even further. It's 19-0 with a man on second and 1 out here in the bottom half of the 5th. So Walker Paz gets his first hit of this ball game with 1 out. Holden Jackson scores all the way from first, and now Riley McSherry will get his first swings of the ball game. First pitch to McSherry. Fastball called strike inside corner. 0-1 to now the Hardhats center fielder. McSherry on the season, .219 hitter. 7 hits and 32 plate appearances. Next pitch is swung on and missed, and his count goes to 0-2. McSherry has 5 singles, 2 doubles. He's knocked in 6 runs, and he has scored 12 times. No balls, 2 strikes his count. And the pitch is high and away, a ball and 2 strikes. He has Holden Jackson standing on, Walker Paz standing on second with the RBI double. That knocked in Holden Jackson. 19-0, the Hardhats lead. 1-2, swung on it. That pitch is hit high in the air to right. Walker Paz is going to tag back up. Stover underneath it and right makes the catch. Paz turns on his jets, and he is up easy, as they say, at third. As he advances on the flyout, the F9 charged to McSherry. So 2 down, a man is 90 feet away from giving the Hardhats a 20-0 lead. And that brings up Cooper Bowman, who after starting this game 0 for 2 with 2 flyouts to center field, has now doubled in back-to-back at-bats, one of which knocked in a run, and both times he came in to score a run. First pitch from Lusk. Called strike. No, sorry, a ball. 1-0 the count. I did not heed Tom's advice. 1-0 the count here to Bowman. And the next pitch is high and away. 2 balls, no strikes. Should Bowman keep this going, Timmy Paris is in the on-deck circle. 2-0 the count here to Bowman. Pitch is high and inside. 3 balls, no strikes.
I want to say, Mark, you have an exciting night tomorrow night. We'll talk about that here in a second. At least I think it's exciting.
I think it is too. 3-0. And that's a called strike outside corner. 3 balls and a strike. Rapid City Rush are going to announce their third ever head coach in team history tomorrow at 6 at the Civic Center. 3-1 to Bowman's fouled, and his count goes full. I encourage everybody listening right now to this broadcast to come on out tomorrow night. Doors will open at 5:30. Club level of the Ice Arena at Rushmore Plaza Civic Center. You can meet with our newest coach. Payoff pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3, and that is going to end the bottom half of the 5th. Well, the Hardhats get a run on a hit with no errors charged to Pierre. One man left on the base path. That was Walker Paz, 90 feet away from home. And at the end of 5 innings of play, it's 19-0. The Hardhats have the lead. We'll be right back with the top half of the 6th inning and another arm for the Hardhats coming on now. We'll be right back in just a few moments, folks, here on Hardhats-TV, which you can find all season long on the internet at post22baseball.com. Five innings are in the books, and now the Post-22 Hardhats have a 19-0 lead to protect. They've scored a run in every inning, 4 in the first, 3 in the second, 10 in the third, 1 in the fourth, and 1 in the fifth. And we have a new arm to talk about. Taking over for Jack Sorensen is now Tommy Wall, the right-hander. 12 2/3 innings of work under his belt. This will be his 8th appearance of the season, his 7th by virtue of relief. 16 strikeouts to 3 walks, a 2.21 ERA. If there is anybody that knows how to attack and get the job done on the mound, it is Tommy Wall. Ice water in his veins, and 16 strikeouts to 3 walks really speaks for itself on the season. He's done an outstanding job for this Hardhats club. Tommy Wall will face 2, 3, and 4 in the order. Barring any substitutions, Connor Gerber is the leadoff hitter, and it looks like that is the case. Start off this top half of the 6th. 19-0 the Hardhats lead, and the first pitch from Wall is swung on, and that's ripped into left field. And making the catch on the play is Zach Sumption. F7 in the book, 1 up, 1 down. Will bring up Brad Dean. Quickly, numbers across the board on the scoreboard. For Pierre, trailing heavily, 0 runs, 3 hits, an error. For the Hardhats, 19 runs, 14 hits, 1 error. That'll bring us to Brad Dean, the center fielder. He's 0 for 2. And his first pitch from Wall is a fastball that's outside, 1-0. So the righty Wall into the righty Dean. He has the switch hitter Garrett Stout on deck. 1-0 from Wall. Fastball up high, 2 balls, no strikes. It's been so entertaining to watch Tommy Wall develop over these last 2 seasons. Again, that ice water factor in his veins is so critical late, especially in the postseason. Next pitch, a swing and a miss to make the count 2 balls and a strike. And it doesn't matter. When Tommy made his debut, he had bases loaded and nobody out in a firecracker tournament game, struck out the side. 2-1. That's a ball just missing low. 3-1 now the count. And he was cheesing the whole time on the mound. He was just smiling, wide as his face. His team was down, and that ended up sparking the Hardhats to a comeback win. 3-1, swung on, and that ball's hit high in the air to right. Holden Jackson is tracking, backpedaling, makes the catch. F9 in the scorebook, 2 up, 2 down. Will now bring us to the switch hitter Garrett Stout, who will line up in the left-handed hitting batter's box. But that is so important. It just didn't faze him, and he rode that momentum to an outstanding finish in the second half. And excellent appearances in the postseason, especially in the regional tournament. First pitch into Garrett Stout is low and inside for a called strike on the inside corner. 0-1 the count. And the 0-1 quickly from Wall. Too far inside. That'll even things at ball and a strike. Stout on the game, 1 for 2. He singled the last time he was up. Only 1 of 3 Pierre hits. 1-1. Swung on, and that ball's ripped into the gap in right center. That's going to drop for a base hit. McSherry comes in from center to field it into pause as cutoff man. And so in back-to-back at-bats, Garrett Stout has a single. Still 2 down here in the top of the 6th. Will bring us to Zach Rayburn. Rayburn 0 for 2, a strikeout, and a ground into double play to end the inning. 1-6-3 is how the scorebook reads. First pitch from Wall, swung on and fouled. 0-1 the count to Zach Rayburn, the left fielder for Pierre. Should he be the final out, barring any substitutions, as Timmy Paris, Todd Stevens, Zach Sumption do up for the Hardhats. Here in the bottom half of the 6th, 19-0 the Hardhats lead. Next pitch from Wall, a called strike on the outside corner right at the knees of Rayburn. 0-2 the count, and now Tommy Wall is looking to become the 4th different pitcher out of 5 to record a strikeout in this ballgame for Post 22. From the stretch, 0-2 from Wall. Swung on and missed, strike 3. And Tommy Wall is the 4th different pitcher out of 5 used in this game by the Hardhats to register a K in the scorebook. No runs, a hit, no errors charged to Post 22. 1 man left on the base path at first. And at the end of 5.5 innings of play, the Hardhats now have an opportunity to add to their 19-0 lead over Pierre. We'll be right back in just a few moments, folks, with the bottom half of the 6th on Hardhats-TV, which you can find all season long on Post22Baseball.com.
Great faces, great places. Wet paint? Yep. And around here, when great places need a little love, great faces band together. Each year, First Interstate Bank employees help local organizations put a fresh coat of paint on homes of those in need. A small gesture, perhaps, but one that puts smiles on faces and strengthens bonds in the places we serve. First Interstate Bank. It's you and I together.
Well, Pierre has played musical chairs once again out on their defensive alignment. Mike Lusk, the relief pitcher, now goes back to third. And coming in from second is Carson Cheddar, the 4th pitcher that Pierre has used. Joe King stays in the game. He's now going to second base. And everything else stays the way that it should be as of right now. So Mike Lusk ended up going 2 1/3 innings. And gave up 3 hits. And 3 runs. So now here comes Timmy Paris against Cheddar, and his first pitch is low and away for ball 1. Timmy Paris on the ball game is 2 for 3, a pair of RBI singles, a pair of runs scored, a sac fly RBI, and a pop out to center field. His next pitch is swung on and hit to second. King, shifting over to second, makes the stop, and the throw to first is in time. 1 up, 1 down for the Hardhats on offense will now bring us to Todd Stevens, which should have been Todd Stevens, the designated hitter. Instead, it is Tommy Wall coming in for the Hardhats. So Tommy Wall, the pitcher, now comes in to hit. Quite the clutch hitter Tommy Wall was last season. Wall in this game, a .321 batting average is what he enters with, and he looks at a first pitch ball away. 1-0 the count. And is 1-0 inside, 2 balls, no strikes. Tommy Wall, this will be the 12th game in which he's batting. He's 9 hits and 28 plate appearances, 6 singles, 3 doubles, 9 ribbies, 13 runs scored. His 2-0 pitch is hit high in the air, shallow center field. Brad Dean comes in, giving way, though, to the second baseman, Joe King, and he makes the catch. It's been the Joe King show so far here in the bottom half of the 6th. A 4-3 and a pop 4. 2 up, 2 down now brings up Zach Sumption for the Hardhats.
Well, if Jack could jack one here, he'd have the cycle tonight.
First pitch to Zach Sumption misses high and away. 1-0 the count. Sumption, to the astute observation of Tom, a sac fly RBI, a triple, a 2-run RBI single, and a double. And Sumption looks at a strike on the outside corner, evens up at 1-1.
Triple and double for Zach tonight. His first 2 extra base hits of the season.
1-1. Swung on, and that ball is torched left field side, but it's foul and out of play. And the count goes to 1-2. I got to be honest with you, Tom. My eyes were as wide as dinner plates watching that ball just skyrocket.
Just a little bit out in front of it.
1-2. Inside pitch caught him looking. Strike 3, and that is going to end the bottom half of the 6th. It's a first for Pierre. A 1-2-3 inning on defense, which means no runs, hits, errors, or anybody left on base. At the end of 6, the Hardhats' 19-0 lead is still intact. Barring a miracle on the other side of the dugouts, Tom will come out to close the top half of the 7th, and that should be all we need to wrap up tonight's Pie Night Showdown. We'll be right back with the top half of the 7th. Hardhats with a 19-0 lead here on Hardhats-TV, which you can see all season long on Post22Baseball.com. Well, the Hardhats have another pitching change out on the mound. We're having some trouble identifying a license plate, but if my guess is correct, it looks like Kyle McGuire. And it is. Oh, my eyesight's better than I thought.
Well, that surprises me. But we've seen how many different pitchers tonight? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See the 5th pitcher?
He's the 6th pitcher.
6th pitcher, yeah, because Sorensen was in there.
Mm-hmm.
Wall, Jackson, Cholas, and who did I miss?
Eberline. Trey Eberline. Cholas, 2 innings. Eberline, Jackson, Sorensen, and Wall, 1 inning in succession. 12 pitches, by the way, for Tommy Wall. He got a strikeout.
So Joe King will lead off here in the top of the 7th for Pierre as they try to break up the shutout. And McGuire's pitch is a strike at the knees. 0-1 the count. And the pitch. Foul back. 0-2. Hardhats scoring 19 runs tonight. That is not their season high. 0-2 the count. Here's the pitch. Low and outside. 1-2. 21 was the number of runs they scored against this Pierre team in Pierre on Memorial Day, the second game of that doubleheader. Here's the pitch. Low and outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Joe King. Post 22 off to Denver on Friday for 4 games, 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. Swing and a miss. And King strikes out. And McGuire gets a strikeout.
Kyle McGuire, out of the 6 pitchers used, is the 5th one to record a strikeout. Hats off to him for keeping the trend going. The lone gentleman did not register a K in the book was Holden Jackson.
Kyle Stover up, is grounded out to second, reached on an error. And the pitch skips back to the screen for ball one.
By the way, McGuire on the season, this is his 8th appearance, just his 2nd in relief. 4-0 record on the line.
1-0 pitch. Foul back. 1 ball, 1 strike.
25 strikeouts to 19 walks and a super nanoscopic 0.296 ERA.
Swing and a chopper foul down and back. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Stover. Post 22 pitching has recorded 9 strikeouts in the game. 5 of them by Zach Cholas, who pitched only 2 innings and struck out 5 out of the 6 men he faced. 1 ball, 2 strikes. McGuire's pitch. Low for a ball, and it's 2-2. Well, this could be, of course, the final inning with post 22 needing just 2 more outs. We can safely project the winning team here tonight. All the runs may not have been scored, but we can project the winner. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Stover as he fouls the pitch off. Trying to think the other day, Mark, and you might remember a game that you watched, the largest comeback a team has ever had in baseball.
That's a good question. I might have to think back to my college days for that one.
2 balls and 2 strikes. The pitch on the way. Bouncer up the first base line, but it's foul. And the count's still 2-2.
I remember there being a lot of high-scoring games, particularly early when I went to college, my first 2 years with watching the South Carolina Gamecocks. There's got to be a pretty memorable one in there somewhere.
2-2 pitch. Low for a ball. You know, a while ago I was talking about I went down into the basement, got some old tapes. Did I tell you what the first 2 tapes I drew out happened to be?
No.
3 balls and 2 strikes. The first one, 1 out here in the top of the 7th. There's a high foul down the right field line. Ferdinand over near the screen has a play, and he caught it for the out. 2 down as Stover fouls out. Here's Easton Swartz, who has struck out twice. One is the call that we had of Colin Hofer's team record 19th home run of the season, which I think we'll play sometime during the season. The second one I drew out happened to be a game in which a certain right fielder was in the game named Mitch Messer.
Oh.
I offered, of course, Mitch a bribe to pay me off not to play that. Swing and a miss. 1 strike to Swartz. So we'll gather some of those up as we go through the course of the season and replay those for you. 1 strike. The pitch is high and tight. 2 outs, 19-0, post 22 leading here in the top of the 7th. Colin Hofer actually ended up that season with 20 home runs. His 18th broke the record set by former Major Leaguer Dave Collins. Fastball strike on the inside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And the pitch. Swing and a miss. Ball game over. 19-0. Post 22 wins. As Post 22 wins their 12th game in a row to go 19-2 on the season. And Post 8 drops to 7-6 on the season. Mark and I will be back. We'll wrap things up tonight from Fitzgerald Stadium, where the Hardhats beat Pierre 19-0 right here on Hardhats-TV.
Coke Zero goes with things like this. This. And this. Coke Zero tastes like this.
He shoots, he scores!
It sounds like this. It feels like this. So when the game is on, try it with this. Coke Zero. Real Coca-Cola taste. 0 calories, 0 sugar. Coke Zero goes with...
Mark, this game was over basically in the second inning. Post 22 wins 19-0, and the schedule changes from here on out.
It absolutely does. And it starts this weekend with Premier West in Denver, Colorado. Now, look, this 19-0 win, we saw a lot of great things. We saw an aggressive Hardhats team. It's awesome. Pierre, you and I mentioned it, and you hate to speculate that this is the case, but you and I mentioned it. They just didn't look like they were either ready or just wanted to be here, which that's a detriment to the Hardhats that they took advantage of a team that wasn't trying to battle like they were in their first matchup that we saw in the doubleheader on Memorial Day. However, for the Hardhats, this was essentially your last chance to work on things, if you will. Now you're going up against Premier West, which Coach Messer is touting as a very skilled team in Denver. It's going to be an interesting weekend, that's for sure, and it's a shame I'm going to miss it. You guys are going to have all the fun without me here, but I will say, Tom, I'm looking forward to seeing how this Hardhats team responds to that adversity of playing against a very good Premier West team. So what needs to happen is everything that happened in this game needs to translate throughout the rest of the season. We saw patience from Hardhats hitting. That's why they scored 19 runs on 14 hits. We saw Zach Cholis once again pitch out of his mind. He saw 6 batters, retired them all, 5 consecutive strikeouts of the 6 batters that he saw. We saw some decent pitching from everybody else on the Hardhat staff that came out for 1-inning stints, and we just saw some great things all around. That needs to translate regardless of who the opponent is, but I like what I'm seeing, and it's a good tune-up for what's supposed to be a very tough weekend.
Zach Sumption had 3 hits in the game for Rapid City, a single, double, and triple. Had 3 RBIs in the game. Justin Kramer hit his second home run of the year, a 2-run homer in the second inning. Post 22 scored 4 in the first, 3 in the second, and then 10 runs in the third inning. And then they added a couple of more runs with single runs in the fourth and fifth. 19 runs, 14 hits, 1 error, and 5 left for Post 22. No runs, 4 hits, 1 error, and 4 left for Pierre. So Post 22 beats Pierre in their 3 games this season. And they outscore Pierre 48-8 in those 3 games.
Good Lord. That's an absurd statistic. Speaking of statistics, I am now tasked with trying to pick an MVP out of this insanely ridiculous score page for the Hardhats. And I got to be honest with you, Tom, I'm going to stick with Zach Cholis on this one because he, with his confidence on the mound, I personally think sparked this Hardhats team to do what they did. He shut everybody down. His first 2 innings that he pitched, the only 2 innings that he pitched, the stat line from Mike Lusk, Connor Gerber, Brad Dean, Garrett Stout, Zach Rayburn, and Austin Haas, 1 through 6, was pop 5, K, backwards K, K, backwards K, backwards K. I mean, that is just pure dominance. And yes, Justin Kramer hit a 2-run jack. Yes, Zach Sumption was a home run shy of the cycle. There were a lot of great individual offensive performances, but I've got to give it to Zach Cholis because he started this whole mantra for the Hardhats of, we're going to go 0 to 60, pedal to the metal, and we're not going to let up off your throat, and that's exactly what we saw in a 19-rip win.
Well, whenever you face 6 batters in the game and strike out 5 of them, that's a pretty good night.
Absolutely it is. And here's hoping, though, that this performance leads into what is going to be a productive weekend for this Hardhats club. Maybe they don't go 4-0. Maybe they split 2-2, or maybe they go 3-0 and drop the final game. What this needs to be at the end of the day, regardless of how many wins or losses this Post-22 team racks up, it needs to be a productive weekend. What do you learn about yourself? Where do you stack up against competition that your coaching staff is deeming to be elite competition?
Mark, get your hands off my pie. That is not going to you and your house tonight. So get your hands off that.
Not even if I ask nicely?
Have a good weekend. We'll see you next week.
We will see you next week.
Good night from me.
Enjoy Denver, Tom. For our director, Destin Newman, here on Hardhats-TV, and my super comedic and hilarious partner, Tom Rudabush. This is Mark Benetti saying so long, good night. I'll see you next week. Tom will see you this weekend in the Rocky Mountain State.